Welcome, this is Birendra Kumar Jha and you are watching Khabar Tah Tak. In the sequence of superhit films shown on Khabar Tah Tak, the new link of a story that I brings to you today is the story of film Azad. This film was released on the silver screen in 1955 and was the most grossing film of that year. S.M. Srimulu Naidu was the director of this film, and the lead role in this film were played by Dilip Kumar and Meena Kumari, whereas the role of villain was played by Pran. Achala Sahdev, Om Prakash, etc. played character role in this film. This film included many beautiful dance scene and melodious song as well. The music director of this film was C.M. Ramchandran, and the voiceover in the song of this film were given by Lata Mangeshkar, Usha Mangeshkar, and C.M. Ramchandran. The song Na bole na bole na bole re घूंघट का पट ना खोले रे राधा ना बोले ना बोले ना बोले रे had received much fame that year. Now listen to the entire story of film Azad. The story of the film Azad begins with a young girl named Soba, played by Meena Kumari, returning home from horseback riding. Her servant reprimands her for riding the horse so fast that it becomes uneasy. Asking her to at least fan it, Soba goes into the house, insisting that the horse is not fanned. Upon returning home, her foster mother, Santa, played by Achala Sahdev, warns Soba against riding her new horse. Soba leaves, insisting that the horse may be new, but the rider is a seasoned one. Just then, the servant arrives and announces that Malik Charan Das, played by Badri, is going to find a groom for Soba. Hearing this, Soba tells Santa that she will find one herself. Soba's mother then arrives and her husband and tells that he must go to find a groom for Soba. Soba's father remains calm, saying that if his son Kumar were alive, he would have married Soba to him. But he has been missing for years. He then tells Soba that it is his job to find a boy and yours to choose him as a groom. He then goes to look for new groom, telling Santa that his friend Kedarnath had handed Soba over to him while dying, so he is taking full responsibility. Sundar traps a girl, Janki, played by Sami, under the pretense of marriage and abuses her. When she overhears Sundar telling his goons to forcibly bring Soba to him, I want her to be my wife. Overhearing this, she went to meet Soba's mother eagerly and to the morning and laments her plight. Soba assures her that she will help her so that Sundar should keep her as his wife. Meanwhile, Motilal, played by Om Prakash, arrives as the head constable and orders his subordinates to capture a criminal named Azad, who have caused a great panic. His subordinates speaks him, claiming that Azad is nowhere to be found, and if he finds out that I am looking for him, he will kill me, and my children will be orphaned. One day, Sundar's goon tricks Soba's servants into leaving at night. He locks all the rooms and the main door from the outside and enters the room where Soba was sleeping and forcibly takes her to Sundar's hideout. On the way, Azad, played by Dilip Kumar's Pran, rescues Soba and brings her to Azad's hideout. Azad is Soba's foster father and mother's son, Kumar. So he recognizes Soba, but due to his long absence, Soba is unable to recognize him. She declares Azad a wrongdoer, claiming that he deliberately planned to rescue her from Sundar's men and bring her here. But Azad does not mind saying that this may or may not be true. He talks about impersonating Azad for a specific purpose. When Soba asks him to drop her home, he says he will take her home a few days later, as Sundar's men could put her in danger if he does so now. When Soba's father returns home, he becomes worried about Soba's whereabouts and reports the matter to the police. The police searches everywhere but find nothing except a gold locket on Sundar's man. Police shows that locket to Soba's foster father, who claims it to be of Soba. He then shows the police a letter written in Azad's name in which he claims to marry Soba and be his son-in-law. This further misleads the police, sometimes suspecting Sundar and Azad to be the same person, sometimes believing that they are different, but they are unable to reach any conclusion. While living at Azad's mountain hideout, Soba and Azad fall in love, and one morning Azad suggests dropping her off at her home. Soba says she does not want to go home, but Azad explains that her foster parents were worried and promises to take her home as soon as possible. One day, when Azad visits Soba, he finds her missing from her hideout. Worried, he begins searching for her. Meanwhile, Soba goes into the forest to relax, lost in Azad's memories. Soba walks along, admiring the wild flowers, creepers, trees, and vegetations. When she hears a bear growl, she climbs at a tree to escape the bear. The bear leaps up and attempts to grab and devour Soba. Just then a lion arrives. The bear and lion fight each other and flee, saving Soba's life. Just then Azad arrives and rebukes Soba for going into the forest alone despite his warnings. Then, on the appointed date, before dropping Soba off at her home, Azad, along with Soba and two other girls who had become her friends, came to his guardian saying Soba is going home today and has come to seek his blessing. Patron of Azad then blessed Soba to be happy going her home, but even the two girls accompanying Soba insisted on singing a song. Soba did so. She sung a touching song. Here in the city, the then Thana in charge informs the inspector that Soba was eaten by a lion, but when the inspector asks who informed him, he names everyone from his wife to the woodcutter in the forest, angering the police inspector and ordering him to catch another culprit. When Azad arrives to take Soba home, he summons Khan Sahib's horse-drawn carriage and sends Soba home. On the way, Sundar's man forcibly brings the horse cart to the home of Sundar. Sundar then promises to get out of the carriage early in the morning to fulfill his wish. But when Soba does not come out despite repeated shouts, he forcibly pulls the carriage door. When the doors open, Soba does not come out, but an angry monkey emerges and pounces on Sundar. Meanwhile, the city's police inspector arrives and flatters Sundar. Just then, the sub-inspector arrives, asking Sundar a series of questions about Khan Sahib's horse-drawn carriage. He orders the Thana in charge to deliver the carriage to Khan Sahib's house and summons Sundar to the police station to prepare an affidavit. In fact, Azad gets Soba out of the carriage and personally escorts her to her house. Her foster parents were overjoyed to see Soba return home. Just as they were rejoicing, the station officer and sub-inspector arrived. Police inspector wanted Soba's father file a case against Sundar, alleging that he had kidnapped her daughter. Then Soba arrived there and reveals that she had nothing to do with Sundar. She was staying at Azad's house all this time. But when the police inspector asked her for information about Azad's hideout, she says that she was taken there at night and while returning, she was dropped off at the edge of the forest also in night. Khan Sahib has brought him home from the edge of the forest. One day, the police officer disguised as a Sikh approaches the sub-inspector. At first, the sub-inspector does not recognize him, but eventually he recognizes him and questions him about his disguise. He explains that he did this to deceive his wife. The sub-inspector asks him why he does not deceive himself and catch the culprit. Citing a letter from the DSP, he informs the police officer that if he does not catch the culprit quickly, he will be dismissed. The sub-inspector then goes to Khan Sahib's place to find out the secret of Soba, Azad and Sundar. At Khan Sahib's place, the sub-inspector learns that Azad and Khan Sahibs are friends. However, Khan Sahib refuses to reveal Azad's whereabouts. He agrees to Azad and discussing the matter with him on the condition that he will not allow Azad to be punished. One day, a friend of Soba's foster father comes to him and tells him that he is desperate to repay the loan took from him but cannot think of a solution. Soba's foster father advises him not to worry too much about the loan and to focus on his work. He then takes Soba's foster father with him to his village in the morning. When Soba's foster father does not return home even after 4 days, Soba becomes worried and informs Azad. This entire plot is hatched by Sundar to get Soba. As part of this conspiracy, he begins to love his wife Janki, whom he always scolded. Seeing Sundar's changed behavior, his wife Janki is overjoyed. Sundar, taking advantage of her innocence, writes a letter in the name of a police inspector. He gives the letter to Janki and sends her to meet Soba, promising to free Soba's father from his prison cell if Soba comes with her. Innocent Janki, unable to fathom his plot, goes to Soba and gives her the letter and brings her home. Sundar then makes an excuse and sends his wife Janki to another room and begins to force himself on Soba. Hearing Soba's screams, Sundar's wife Janki goes there and protests. But Sundar strangles her to death just as he begins to force himself on Soba. A glaring dagger appears accompanied by Azad. Sundar asks for Azad's identity and he introduces himself and declares that he is the death of a people like him. A fire fight ensues between Sundar and Azad, ending in Azad defeating Sundar and living with Soba. After Soba lives with Azad, Sundar begins to assault her, telling her father that he will only release her if she marries him. Seeing this, his old friend who had lured him here also agrees with Sundar, calling him a nobleman and threatening to kill both of his friend and Soba if his friend does not comply. However, Soba's father, undeterred by the threat of death, declares he is unwilling to marry Soba to Sundar under any circumstances. Hearing this, Sundar and Soba's foster father's friend brutally beat him. When Azad's foster father is dying, he tells Azad that he obtained all this wealth, confiscating it from robbers. He wishes to return everyone's money and also inform the police about the robbers. Azad then finds them all and returns their stolen property. Following this, Khan Sahib approaches the police sub-inspector one day and asks him to lift the ban on Azad so that he can live a normal life. Instead of acquitting Azad, the police inspector declares him a heinous criminal and wants to arrest him. Then Khan Sahib replies that Azad is returning all the wealth and stolen by the robbers to their rightful heirs. He also shared the names of those criminals with him, which is why you have been able to put so many criminals in jail. The police inspector then takes an oath from Khan Sahib and recommends Azad's acquittal to senior officials. One day, Khan Sahib approaches the police sub-inspector, informs him of Sobha's father's disappearance and asks him to follow him. With a police contingent, Khan Sahib then proceeds to Sundar's bungalow. To deceive Sundar, he asks the police to stand guard near Sundar's main gate. Climbs into Sundar's house through the back door and opens the main gate, allowing the police to enter inside. As Khan Sahib and the police sub-inspector are proceeding, they hear groaning come from a room. When the room is opened, Sobha's foster father Charan Das is found injured. Khan Sahib opens the room and tries to rescue Sobha's foster father Charan Das, but Sundar and his men attack him. Just then, the sub-inspector arrives with his police team and Sundar arrests his men and takes them to the police station. Based on Soba's and Soba's foster father's statement, the sub-inspector files a case against Sundar for kidnapping Soba and her foster father and murdering his own wife. Sundar and his accomplice are imprisoned. Khan Sahib and the police inspector then approaches Soba's foster parents and Khan Sahib proposes Soba's marriage to Azad. Hearing this, Soba's parents become enraged and declare their daughter's unwillingness to marry as a criminal. The police inspector then reveals that Azad is not a criminal, rather he is a righteous man who works for the welfare of the common man who was deliberately defamed by criminals. Now, after the case has been exposed, the government has deliberately disclosed him all the false charges against him. Soba's foster parents then questions his family's lineage. Khan Sahib explains that Azad is the son of a righteous man from the same village whose aunt's daughter was raped by Jagira, a notorious dacoit of this area. Azad went to his hideout and killed him. However, he was seriously injured in the process. Then another man from states nursed Azad back to consciousness and then began treating him as his own son. Upon hearing this, Soba's foster parents believe that Azad is none other than their long lost son, Kumar. Soba's foster parents ask Khan Sahib to bring Azad at his house. During the course of time, Soba and Azad meet secretly. On the appointed date, Khan Sahib suddenly appears in Soba's room and begins making love in the morning. This enraged Soba, but then Khan Sahib's beard slips off, revealing to Soba that Khan Sahib is Azad. Seeing Khan Sahib making love to her daughter Soba, Soba's mother becomes furious and begins abusing him. Just then, the police inspector arrives. Soba's foster mother complains to the police inspector about Khan Sahib. Soba sips Khan Sahib's beard and reveals that Khan Sahib is Azad. Soba's mother tells Kumar, "You are my son, and we used to live nearby, but we kept them from finding out." After this, Khan Sahib, meaning Azad, touches the feet of his mother and father. Azad is then married to Soba. With this scene, the story of this film Azad ends.